Right, okay, I think we're live. Let me just check. If you can see me and I'm here, am I live? I don't know if I am actually live. 27th. Cool. I think I'm live. Woohoo! 27th. Yeah, it's me. I'm live. Cool. I can hear myself talking. So if you can hear and see me, let me know. I'm just going to check on this as well. I think I just had technical problems. I thought I was live and I wasn't. And yeah, I'm live now. Cool. Okay, fantastic. So we are now live. Thank you very much to everyone joining. If you're here, drop the comments down below. So I'm going to go through a couple of things which we're doing in my business now, which are going to help you out. So drop a comment down below. Obviously, if you're if you're here, drop your questions down below. But I'm going to go through three things in my business that we're doing. Number one, Cyber Monday right now. So it's Cyber Monday right now. Also, it's been Black Friday. But the whole point is that over the course of last week and this week, there can be lots of sales. So don't just think, oh, tomorrow all the sales are gone. They haven't. They're still going to keep going. There's still going to be opportunities. But one thing which we're really thinking about within our sales is that we don't know if the competition are buying as well and how much they're buying. So, and by the way, I've been burnt before. So what am I looking at? I'm going to be specifically looking at faster selling lines, whereby it is a good price based on the historical average, not the price has gone up. And then today the, should we say, oh, it's a really good profitability because maybe the price has gone up. Don't do it. Number two is the fact that we want to just buy the faster selling lines. And the reason why we want to buy the faster selling lines is for the net result. If too many people buy the product, we might have to hold for 3 months, but it's not the end of the world. Whereas if you buy the slower selling lines and loads of people buy it, you might be waiting for a year. Trust me, I've been there. It's not nice. Now, number two, product authenticity, section threes, all of this, what are we doing? Well, we're looking at our supply chain, and specifically we are looking at the suppliers which we are buying from, and we're trying to make sure we're vetting them. So we're, again, approved supplier list. We have our own internal approved supplier list, and if there is so we can source from them, that's fine. But anything which is not on that approved supplier list, we are also as well going to be vetting. And what does vetting look like? Vetting is number one, how long has the company been around? So obviously, generally we want at least 2 years, if not 5, if not 10, ideally. We want to know, do they have positive reviews online? All this kind of information, like we're just looking for good signals that this company is legitimate, they've been around for a long period of time, and therefore they are very likely to be buying legitimate goods, and that's good. Now, the second thing we're going to be doing, obviously on our approved supplier sheet, and what we're doing it already, but we're just combining it, is can we do bulk orders? How do we do bulk orders? Do we do cancellations? What credit cards do they accept? Do we have problems with them or any issues we note? Now, this next one we're doing is we're putting a column, have Amazon accepted their invoices? So we want to know that. So that's a really important point, because when you want to go deep on a product, you want to know, Amazon's accepted these guys' invoices. We're pretty much fine. They're fine with that. So if we have that information, that's super key. And then the third and final one, or the fourth one, or should we say the suppliers, is the fact that we're also looking at those suppliers, when we purchase from them initially, is I'm going to manually check the invoice on the first order when we get it. Why? Because I want to see what the invoice looks like. If the invoice says Lego number 415, UPC code, barcode, from supplier, EE distribution, all goods legitimate, contact us here. I'm like, that looks like a really good invoice. I'm really happy with that. But if the other invoice from the other supplier says Lego toy units 20 done, that's it. I'm like, well, there's no description of what the product is. The invoice looks rubbish. And if I send that to Amazon, I think they're going to reject it. So I'm just going to say, let's not buy from that supplier, because if we get a section 3, if we get problems, we've got problems, real big problems. So that's what we're looking at. And again, trying to just make sure that we're tightening up on our supply chain and becoming better and more efficient. Now, the final one, which I'll kind of update you today, because I think it's quite important, but it's quite obvious. We had some listings whereby they got taken down. Nothing our fault, but the products, the listings that we were selling were English, but the listing itself was in French. So the net result was that the listing itself got removed because the picture was in French, but the product we were selling was the English version, and it got taken down also in the USA because you can't sell French products in the USA because it's got to be in English language. So what was really annoying was that was just frustrating. But we also just made sure we updated our purchasing process to say, making sure that we actually have as part of our checks and balances, all the checks, 38 things, then the idea is that we're actually going to be making sure that all of our purchases are reviewed to that standard, so they all have English language on them. Because the last thing we want to do is go deep on a product which has French writing and then all of a sudden it gets taken off. So hope that makes sense. They're my top 3 things that we're doing this week. Let me know what you're doing down below. But let's kind of jump over some questions here. I'm going to be supporting you guys with questions in your business, and let's go through. So we've got a couple of people who've already joined. Maghreb Decor, hi. Aaron, hello. Saria, I hope that's right. I'm really bad with names. Big fan of you. Thank you very much. Hopefully I can help you. You're from Pakistan. Fantastic. Want to learn from you. Cool. YouTube videos, really, really good. Get learning, watch them. Take action. Do not sit there and watch videos. Too many people just do that, myself included. We actually need to do some action. Let's kind of jump through. So where do you get the approved supplier list from, please? So there is no approved supplier list. We build it ourselves. So specifically, an approved supplier list for ourselves is whereby my sourcing VAs come in and find products. And if those products are from a supplier, which we've already checked, is on the Excel spreadsheet, it's like a list that we have, then they are called our own improved suppliers. But if they're not, then we have to go through a vetting process. And we actually have a process for how we vet, and we're constantly improving that as we go through. But we just want to make sure that we're sourcing from legitimate suppliers all the time. And that's a really important part. So we've built our own approved supplier list. There is no official approved supplier list. I think that needs to be clearly stated. But the idea is within our business, we are building that up ourselves with additional information, which is going to help us out. And specifically, the one thing you really want is obviously they do legitimate goods, they do good invoices, Amazon accepts them, fantastic. But also as well, can you buy deep? Because I had this conversation with my purchasing manager. I was like, the reason why we want to be careful about the suppliers we buy from and not going crazy is not only for the fact that for legitimacy, but also for the fact that you might find lots of great products, but you can only buy a couple of them. And then you're kind of like wasting your time. Like, we just want to be focusing on the times where we can buy deep. Why? Because, some products we're going to spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 on one ASIN. And when you find that ASIN, you're like, wow, that's like my entire day's worth of sourcing done. So, but again, if you find that ASIN where you want to buy $5,000 worth, but the supplier only let you buy $50 worth, it's like a nightmare. You're gonna have to work so much harder to build up and all the little administration. So having those approved supplier links is really, really key, or like that list of approved suppliers can just help you out in your business. Now, Sarah says, I want to work for you for Amazon FBA wholesale. You can apply, Fast Track FBA website. I will say right now, we only accept Filipinos right now. That may change in the future, but not anytime soon. And this is just for the fact that we have a really good understanding of how to work with people from the Philippines. And we just want to keep building on that as opposed to like spreading it out. And we have a really good, we just understand the cultural differences, which is a really big part, and we can train that with our customers. But obviously, I think you said obviously it's not from the Philippines, so have a look. But obviously you can see. Hania Roy, I hope that makes sense. Hi Tom, hope you're well. I have a quick question. How soon is too soon to sign up for a prep center? There is no too soon. 1 second. Oh man, I love coffee. Oh, I love coffee. Drop your questions down below. I will answer them along with drinking my coffee. I need to turn the fan on. It's getting hot in Mexico City. Right, how soon is a prep center? Okay, so if you're thinking about getting a prep center, number one, we have a really good list of UK and USA based prep centers that can help you out. If you're in the US, think about a sales tax-free state, really can make the difference. The real question about when's too soon to buy a prep center or get a prep center, I don't think there is any time that you can say is too soon. What I do recommend though is that you actually do ship some products to your house and actually go through the prep process yourself just to see what it's like. But if you are like me when I lived in London, central London, and I lived on like the 4th floor, I think it was, like shipping stuff to my house was just not really feasible and I couldn't be home to pick it up. It wouldn't work. So having a prep center in those situations from day one is perfectly acceptable. Now, ideally, if you can, try and ship some stuff to your house, go through it, it's going to save you cost. But at least understand the prep process and do at least one shipment yourself so you understand what the prep centers go through. And then after that, if you want to, you can do a prep center, or you can do a prep center from day one and then ship the odd shipment to your house. I used to do that many, many times. But trust me, taking things up and down the 4 stories never nice, and also having to be at home all the time, not a nice situation. But I don't think there's a time where you could be too soon to get prep center, but I would strongly recommend if you're in the US looking at a sales tax-free state. And again, if you look at our blogs, Fast Track FBA blog posts, you'll see the UK and USA like top prep center guides. We share the information there. So I hope that makes sense. Let's kind of jump through. The review guy. Hey, I love it. The review guy, I've got to check out your channel. What do you review? Let me ask that question. You're like, I review Tom drinking coffee. So, hey, Tom, how do we go about adding a variation to a brand listing? Is it worth the struggle with CS? I don't know the exact answer, but I'm going to guess, number one, you have to be the owner of the original brand parent ASIN. You want to add a child to a parent ASIN, what it's called. And I think you have to be the owner of the parent ASIN. If it's under Amazon brand registry, you might be able to get around it. Because they might say it's in the interest of Amazon to do it. And I'm guessing the way they might want you to do is you have to prove that there is a variation by showing a link to the manufacturer's website. Generally, that works. Like whenever you want to make a change to any ASIN under Amazon brand or Amazon catalog, which is under their own, they look after it, you have to show a link to the Amazon website whereby it shows the information is correct, a manufacturer website, so Amazon will update it to the manufacturer website. So that's the one thing you got to do. Is it worth the hassle? You need to do the math. You really do. I think if you're going to get more than like $500 profit per month from the product, yeah, I'd probably do it. Maybe $250 profit per month. But if I'm looking at $100 profit per month, I probably wouldn't bother. I'd be like, move on, next one. I'll come back and check in a year's time. So I hope that makes sense. It's a private label question, so you might be better in like some other forums. But I think if it's under brand registry, I think it is, you either need to be the owner or Amazon could do it, but you need to link to the manufacturer website. I hope that makes sense. Let's kind of jump through. Maggie Rep. Hey, thanks. Cool, no problem. How much? Good question. How much debt is too much? Using Amazon loans, credit cards, what ratio is best placed against monthly turnover, perhaps? Good question. 1 second. It's a really good question. I don't know the exact answer. Like I haven't quantified it in that respect. So there's a couple of key metrics you might look at. Yes, you're looking at the debt relative to the monthly turnover. I can understand that. But generally, people don't look at that because if the debt is 20% interest per year or it's 50% interest per year, the ratio might be exactly the same, but you don't really care about the ratio of debt to turnover. That isn't the key metric. The key metric you look at, which they look at in general debt, is can you service the interest on it? So if you're making $10,000 per month net profits, and you now net profits, let's be crystal clear here, and you're going to take an Amazon loan, and that Amazon loan now is going to cost you $20,000 per month net profits, well, you might be like, well, actually, once we factor in, yes, I'm going to get more money because I'm buying more stock, but I might make another $10,000 per month, and then now I'm just breaking even. So it's probably not going to be worth it. So the real question is, can you service the debt? Now, the one thing which I'll really just share about Amazon loans, and I learned this from my own experiences, ideally, if you're doing arbitrage or wholesale, what you really want is a line of credit rather than an Amazon loan. Even if the APR is 5, maybe even 10% higher, a line of credit exactly what you want. Why? Because if you get an Amazon loan, you get a big chunk of cash right now, and then you have to pay it down. So you're kind of rushing to spend it, and then you kind of pay it down, and then you crash, and then literally you have to slow back down again until the next big chunk. And then this kind of section up the top, this little triangle, this is where you're paying interest on money that you're not even using. Whereas with a line of credit, you're always going to get available capital, and you're only paying interest on that capital, and you're only paying for what you use. If you don't use it, you don't pay. Obviously, you pay a service fee to have the credit, but you only pay interest on what you're actually using. So ideally, if you can, even if it costs you a lot more, get a line of credit. This is why things like capital on tap credit cards are quite useful. Like we have 100K in that allowance, so we could use it as like a credit allowance as opposed to using Amazon loans, which are like boom and bust. The other thing I didn't really like about Amazon loans was the fact that you can't talk to anyone. You never knew if you were going to, you couldn't say, hi, do you think you're going to give me another loan? They're like, you just literally, you cannot talk to anyone. So you're going to build a business based off a company which you can't talk to, and you have no understanding of whether they're going to continue to loan you. And it just becomes really hard to invest. So if I'm looking about debt, specifically, the real key question I'd be about is, can I service the debt in regards to the interest rates? And ideally, you want a line of credit. That's the way it's going to work, because that'll allow you just to spend when you need it. Hope that makes sense, Akil. So I know there's a lot from you and wants hands-on experience as possible to work for you. Unfortunately, do you know? I only really have two direct. So we have 40 odd staff, I think, in my company. I only have two direct reports. So only two people directly get to work with me within my company. So unfortunately, no. Like even like the sources in my company don't work for me. I literally have a purchasing manager in my Amazon USA business and an operations manager in Fast Track FBA, and they're the only people who get to work directly hands-on with me. I will work with other people within my company on a as and when basis, and generally, you know it. If you have a problem, if there is a problem, you'll see me more. If you don't ever see me, it means you have no problems. That's the way it works. And my sources generally don't spend much time with me because my team can manage it all as well. I know, I learned. Cool. No, good work. Right, Maghreb, I understand that creating bundles requires a GSL1 barcode and therefore a subscription to GSL1. How difficult is this to do? I don't think it's difficult. I've never done it, but I don't think it's difficult. And the reason why I don't think it's difficult is because I know a lot of people who've done it. So just get started. Just like Amazon, just do it. It's going to cost you a bit of money, but it's not the end of the world. Absolutely fine. Thanks, Tom. If we do opt for a prep center, how would they go about substitutions? Is it crazy how many substitutions you can get around Q4? You shouldn't really get substitutions. 1 second. Okay, so if you're using a prep center and you're buying from supermarkets because they do substitutions, you really want to turn that functionality off. Literally, I do not want substitutions at all. And then if you do get them, return them. But you wouldn't get substitutions for anything else. It's not like you order an iPhone and get a Mac instead. You only really get substitutions if you're doing grocery and supermarkets, and you just turn off that function. You can generally go into settings, or you send them a message and say, please stop sending me substitutions. Then you're generally fine. If you do get them, I just return them. That would be it. But most good prep centers will help you manage that, and they'll go, this isn't what we expected. You need to return it. So I hope that makes sense. Wando Igueta Burki. I hope that's right. My God, what a name. Wow, incredible. Question. I found a great product, great profitable price, big US brand, but no listing of this specific model on Amazon. Is it worth making a new listing for this product? Generally, I would say no. In 6 years, 7 years, don't quote me, probably 8 figures on Amazon. I say that loosely. We've done 5 million last year alone in sales. So I'm guessing in 7 years, I've probably done 8 figures. So in 7 years of selling on Amazon, we've never had to create a listing, or never wanted to create a listing, or never actually created a listing. We could have done, but generally there's a lot of work for it. And most of the time, by the time we figured out creating the listing, it would have been much easier just to find another profitable product. So you're going to find thousands of these great profits or great price, but there's no listing. I just don't bother. I move on. Because really, great profit, great potential profit, great brand, means nothing if it doesn't sell. And if there's no listing, it doesn't sell. So, and you might be able to create a listing and get it selling, but you don't know. And it's a big risk. And I'm like, well, I could just spend that time finding another product. So I'd do that. More needles in the haystacks. Let's do that. Akil, does Seller Toolkit only take into account profit for goods sold? If you have goods in inventory, these not be accounted for, meaning overall you're in a loss. Is this right? No, because technically, okay. So Seller Toolkit, the way it works, number one, at the top, it has your P&L. So that is P&L for the products sold only. Be very careful. On the right-hand side, you have what's known as a P&L after Amazon fees. This isn't the FBA fees for the products that are sold. That's still included in the top right. This now includes fees such as storage fees, shipping to Amazon fees, customer return fees. All of those fees are included on the right. So whenever you're looking at P&L, you should really be looking at that. Now, down the bottom, you'll see also inventory. Now, any inventory you're holding will show you there what's inbound, what you're holding, what the cost price is, what the retail is, what the potential profit on it, and it is potential because it hasn't sold yet, and then what the ROI as well. Now, the one thing which you've got to really think about is when you buy stock, all you're doing is converting cash into stock. Now, on a business and a financial level, stock is classified as an asset because you've converted the cash into stock, and that sits on your balance sheet, and therefore you have not lost money, you've just converted it from one form to the other. And then that stock is what you then use to go and resell to make profits and obviously grow your business and then get back the cash back. So you are not in a loss when you buy stock. If I had $100 worth of cash and then I converted $100 worth of sneakers, I have not lost money. Yes, I do not have $100 worth of cash, but I now have $100 worth of sneakers. And you always, when you do your inventory or whenever you do your balance sheet on a business, You never look at what the sale price is. You always look at what you paid for it, and that's how you calculate your profitability. So not what I could get for it, but what did I actually pay, and that's the cash value that you allocate it for. Now, once I sell those sneakers for $200, for example, and then I pay Amazon their $80 fee for it, I get back $120. I get my original $100 I invested plus my $20 profit. I make 20% ROI. We're happy, all good. Math isn't, that's the math, but maybe the ROI isn't that great. Hope that helps. JGL2, hey man, long time no see. I'm gonna have some coffee. Right, I hope you are good. Any advice to give VA sourcing UK market? They often rely on the same few sites that we often use and struggle to find deals. They pick and panic, flip between sites. Cool, 1 second. Oh my God, I love coffee. Let me know if you love coffee. I love coffee. By the way, guys, I will just say this before I answer JGL2. Down below, I think it's like there, you'll see Mastery Bundle. If you're looking to get our sourcing mastery, you're getting the admin mastery, top seller program, and 3 months worth of calls, all with a 15-day money-back guarantee. If you're not happy, you can get it. You've got 80% off. Have a look down below. Today, Cyber Monday is the very last day. FastTrackFBA.com. Check it out. Trust me, 80% off. Incredible. Just the admin mastery alone is worth $847, and you're going to pick this up for 80% off the whole package together. Incredible deal. Right, that's going to come through. Okay, advice for the UK market. So it's a really good question. Okay, UK market, if you are struggling with, look, it's the same thing with business anywhere. Your question is ideally at every single point when you are sourcing, you should always be testing different things. It's the same as marketing. So what are we saying? We're saying, let's say, for example, in the UK, I'm doing, let's call it beauty, for example, and I have a website, the Hut Group, and I have Boots. And I should be sourcing across both of them. And what I'm going to be asking myself the question is, which one's better? And let's define better. You need to define it as in there's a couple of key metrics that you can define. Spend, you can look at also estimated gross profit, and then you can look at actual gross profit once those products are sold. Why is this important? Because obviously we know in the UK, if you're purchasing Boots, your spend is going to be rubbish because you just can't buy the products, they're going to cancel it. But you're probably estimated and actual gross profit will be really high. Why? Or relative to the spend, because no one can buy much stock. But if you're even going to buy from the Hut Group, you'll be able to buy a lot more until they cancel you, but you might find that the prices crash a bit more. So you're going to look at those two suppliers and say which one's better. So what you're then going to do is go, well, out of the two suppliers, Boots is rubbish, this one's good. Cool. Okay, let's go find another supplier. And what we're doing is we keep testing other suppliers until one beats the Hut Group. Or it might be 5 suppliers, for example, that you're testing. And you're always just asking which one's better. Now, you're going to probably do that across categories, across brands, across suppliers, and you're constantly just asking questions like, what's doing well, what's not? And your key indicators that you're looking for are exactly what I just told you. Spend, estimated gross profits, actual gross profits. And my top tip for you is every week, you can do it really simplistically. We do a kind of variation on this on the USS. STK or your profit software, download the P&L, download your profit, and then just group it by maybe supplier, maybe by VA, and you're just going to be like, what's worked last week, what's hasn't? Because even if both suppliers are rubbish, one supplier will be less rubbish than the other one. So stop focusing on the rubbish, the worst one, get rid of that, and then say, right, let's go find another one. Let's see what's happening. And again, you can look at that from actual sales data, i.e. what's actually sold. And I appreciate that's about a 3 to 4 week leading or lag time. But you can also do the same thing in regards to your purchases and look at like, where did we spend the most time? It might be like Monday to half day Tuesday, you're going to spend on Boots, and then half day Tuesday till Friday, you're going to spend on Superdrug, for example. And the net result is you're just going to start finding what's working for you. They're never going to be amazing, but the idea is you're just constantly going to say, right, which one's working, which one's working, which one's working, and you're just testing, and you use numbers. This is it. And the problem we have as leaders in our business is we don't track metrics. And I learned this in my business, is that we are really important about pushing people to drive numbers within our business. So I hope that makes sense. Like, we're really looking to drive numbers. So do check that out. That's really important. Guys, if you've got questions, do drop them down below. Obviously, I'll be here for another couple of minutes and just supporting you with that. But I just want to make sure, am I still live? Where are we going here? That's cool. So, yeah. Oh, my God. I can actually see me. I'm live. Cool. Yeah, so if you've got questions, do let me know, drop them down below. But JGL2, let me know if that helps you out down below. So giving you success there, yeah. Now, Facebook user, hey, I just wanted to say thank you. My new VA started today and is looking good. A big thank you to Fast Track. Absolutely love it. Let me take a big picture of that. I love pictures like this. Like, wow. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's do this. Can I do it right? Right, thank you very much. Okay, so top question for you. If you do have a VA starting, a couple of things, what can I really, really recommend? Number one, get your Google Calendar out, schedule in 1 hour per week or per day, sorry. 1 hour per day towards that VA. You're going to have a call, and in that call, you're going to discuss how are you, build the relationship. Number two, you're going to define what does success look like, which is the results that they should be getting. Let's define that. In our business, the way we look at it in the VA Academy, month one, every week, we should be spending about $500 per VA on average in that week. Month two, $1,000. Month three, $1,500. There's a three. That's the key metric in spend that we're looking at, and generally that's looking about a 30% ROI, £3 profit, $4 profit per item. So number one, we're going to say hi, how are you, build a relationship. Number two, we're going to define what success looks like. Number three, we're going to say, let's review your deals. So we're going to go through that deal review process. I'm going to give them feedback. Number four, we're going to summarize which deals we think we're going to buy. And then we're going to talk about how we're doing towards the goals that we discussed earlier. And then number five, we're going to go through the fact that we're going to ask them, what are they going to do tomorrow? Why? Because if you plan to fail, or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And what we're trying to do is make sure that our VAs have a really good sourcing plan. Where are they going to source tomorrow? What have they learned? What have they not learned? What are they going to do differently and improve? Every week, every day, I'm doing things differently. That's called learning, changing what we're doing. Keep doing what works, change what doesn't. So the idea is we're going to do that. So number one, we'll have that 1 hour review call. By the way, you probably won't use the entire hour, but you do want it to make sure that you are having that contact time, because communication with our VAs is one of the most important things that we can do, which is going to support them. Now, the second thing which we're going to do, and I really love doing this, is the fact that we're going to keep doing that for the entire month. And then the second month, we can drop it down to like once per every 3 days. And then the third month, we can drop it down to once per week, for example. Now, the one thing which we like to do across our VAs, and I've done it with my team many, many times, is that month one is I'm showing you the feedback that I have about your deals. Month two is the fact that I'm now going to start asking you what you think of the deals or where the problems are before I analyze. And then month three, you're going to jump on the deal analysis and you're going to analyze them in front of me so I can see your process and how you're getting on. And really, I want to be making sure that your analysis is the same as mine. So I'm going to be watching how you analyze. This is a really key metric. Now, also I run the top seller program. Again, you can get it part of the Black Friday bundle, which is down there. And in regards to this, we had a lady on there who's just been struggling for a long time. And I say a long time, like really struggling. And the one thing which I said is like, look, she said to me, I just want to know how to source. And I was like, I've told you how to source, but I can keep talking to you about how to source for as long as you like. But if you're not listening to me, or if you're not understanding, and I'm not saying you're not listening, if you're not understanding, it won't make a difference. For example, if I were to explain to you how to source in Japanese, I have actually told you how to source, but you have not been able to understand me. So therefore, I've not actually done my job well in communicating, because I've not done it in a way that allows you to understand. And the way we do this is the fact that we talk, we share how to source, number one. And then number two, we get the person to show us back how they're sourcing and we watch them. And then therefore, by doing that, we get to see all the little things that they're doing wrong. For example, when we did it with this lady in the top seller program, what we noticed is that she was going really, really slow through her sourcing. She wasn't starting off with the right methodology. She had SaaS in a completely different window. She was kind of like starting with SaaS and then working her way back to try and find suppliers. And I was like, and then also when we just watched the speed of everything, I was like, it's really slow. Like I said, I think it took 4 minutes to get to the deal analysis of one deal. And I was like, my team can analyze the deal in like, from the moment you see the supplier, fully analyzed, done within 30 seconds. So my team are going 8 times faster than you. And therefore, if we think about sourcing as needle in haystacks, they're just able to analyze more haystacks and therefore they find more needles. Simple. So I hope that makes sense. And again, communication is really, really key in regards to VAs and how we do. So absolutely love it. Glad you got your new VA. Really, really good. Right, let's kind of go through. Hey, Tom, I just want to thank you for the VA I just got from Fast Track FBA. She's performing very well, and it's in month 3. Woohoo! She's given me 13 buyable deals every day. Absolutely worth it. Hey, I love it. Hanoi Roy, I'm going to take a picture of that as well. I just want to say absolutely love you. Let's see. It's like me doing little smiley faces. Absolutely love it. Honestly, really, really good. Like, honestly, I'm so glad I can help you out. And I'm so glad, like, we can support you with, like, your business and you have this. This is, like, you know, a really key part of it. And I think the idea is that what we're trying to do is just support people with, number one, good VAs. And then number two is the fact that how to manage them. And the reason why I say this is because we've all, like, I don't know if you know it, people do not work for companies, they work for bosses. And if you understand that if you do a good job as a boss, you'll have a great company, and this is what we want to try and build. So, but also as well, you can have great staff, and if they work for bad bosses, it doesn't work. But also you can have great bosses with bad staff, and it doesn't work as well. So we're really good at finding great staff, helping you train them and supporting you probably as new sellers, new bosses, new leaders in your business to do the best practice. So I hope that helps, and honestly, absolutely love it. And honestly, let me know if there's anything we can do to improve. Like, I'm really trying to improve the VA Academy. If we can do like more, absolutely love it. I'd really love you. Yeah, so really, really good. And honestly, I don't know if you got this one as well. So like, you know, you want to say thank you. Absolutely love it. So I think these are brilliant. So I just want to say a really big thank you to both of you for giving the feedback. So what we got here, a really big, helpful and insightful thank you. Never thought about it like that. We'll start iterating supplier lists. It's just called testing. Like, it's all it is. It's just testing. And the goal is so let me put it this way, because I know the same problem within my business. We all see shiny objects and think we need to be doing that. And the problem comes is that you don't realize that the shiny object isn't as good as you think it is. And actually, and if you look at anything you do, when you first start it, you're rubbish. Like, if you just think about, like, if you go to the gym, if you start a new, like, learning a new language, the first kind of like 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, you are like the worst you possibly can be. But the second year, you are so, like, your growth from year one, from 0 to year 1 is like this, but from year 1 to year 2 is like this. It's like incredible. And if you ever look at like any growth curve, it's never a straight line. It's always kind of like linear or logarithmic. So it kind of goes up as a big curve. And what you realize is that all of the growth comes at the end. Warren Buffett, for example, you know, I think he hit $1 billion at age 58, and then like and then he made like, I don't know, maybe like 70 or something. And then he made another like 60 billion in the last 5 years or like 10 years. If you look at his growth curve, it's incredible. Why? Because none of the rewards come at the beginning. They always come at the end. And every time you change, maybe you're looking at like new supplier, new brand, new product, you are starting from the beginning again. And your knowledge of that supplier and that brand or that category is just nothing. So you have to keep drilling down till you get it. And by the way, like, and the one thing I kind of think about, and I shared this with a couple of people, is the fact that if you are in like a marketplace where it's struggling, or like you're struggling, like UK is one of them, you got to ask yourself, how can I create a moat, a barrier to entry around it? Like, if your sourcing technique, and by the way, this was mine and it's really bad. If your sourcing technique is called right mouse click, search for name on Google and see what's cheap, everyone can copy you. Like, they can just copy you. You're never going to have any profitable products because everyone can find your store and copy it. But if your sourcing method is, I found a coupon code that works and no one knows about it, and then I can use this on this supplier, or I know how to get orders through from Boots and no one knows how to do this, or maybe even I use like student discount, I don't know, like all these little hacks that no one else talks about and you can't find, and it makes it hard to do, or it's a lot of hassle. If you can do that, it just means that you're building a moat around your business, which will protect your profits, because lazy people can't come in and do it because they don't know and they're not willing to do the hard work. So be grateful for the fact that it's hard, because the hard makes it worth it, because it gives you the profit. When it's easy, everyone else can do it. So I hope that makes sense. Guys, if you've got any more questions, please drop them down below. I've got a couple more minutes. I've got about 7 more minutes, and then I'll finish up there. Let me know, by the way, how's the quality today? Is my internet really slow? Am I grainy? I think I looked on my phone, it looked okay, but I just want to make sure that, you know, you guys are like, yeah, it looks good. So let me know. I'm just checking here. Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, how's the quality today? So let me know, like, the quality. Previously in the last few lives, it's been a real challenge, but hopefully it's looking a lot better. But yeah, let me know the quality. So again, if I come back to like my business, what are we doing? Improve supplier lists. We are testing. I'm doing a lot of work tomorrow around reorders. Oh, by the way, Q4 sales have definitely picked up. Black Friday, we saw that. Oh my God, the charts have gone off the roof. Profitability has gone up as well. Really, really happy with that. Obviously, you can buy lots of deals. That's really good as well. And again, like we're just really looking at our supply chain. We're really looking at making sure that the suppliers we're buying from are good. And then we're having a really strong vetting process, because this is so, so important. Like if you can't get your invoices through, it's going to be a nightmare, because you're just going to get IP complaint or inauthentic complaint after inauthentic complaint. And as a result, you're going to get problems. And by the way, if you think about it, when you go deep, if you want to go like, hey man, I want to buy like $5,000 of this product. If you're like, I'd love to buy $5,000, but I don't know if Amazon will accept the invoice if there's an inauthentic complaint. That's a big problem. So what you might be thinking about as well, if I know that Amazon's already accepted the invoice and that we've never had a problem with them, and I can buy 5,000, you'd be like, buy it, because you know the product's going to work. And especially if it's on like a Black Friday offer where the historic selling price has always been this and it sells really fast, and today you can buy it so that you could sell it even down here and still make a decent profit. Absolutely fantastic. But again, it's about building knowledge. It's about building competitive moats around your business that other people cannot compete against, which is going to support you and save you in your business, or like give you a competitive advantage versus anyone else. And if you're especially in the UK, by the way, you have people who can create a business for nothing. They just have to pay for Amazon seller fees. They can use the prep center, and they have an easy mode because they do not have to worry about VAT. So you have to think about creating your competitive advantages, which is again how you get ahead of everyone else. I hope that makes sense. So JGL2, internet seems good. Thank you so much. I'm really, really good. Thank you. Right. Any more questions, guys? Drop them down below. Otherwise, I will be dropping off. So JGL2, been selling for a year now, but I only really been doing it properly since May. So really good hearing what you're saying about the growth being later. Yeah, right. Fuck, my God. Sorry, language. By the way, like, it doesn't matter what you do in life. So there's two parts of like, people ask me, hey Tom, I should start selling on Amazon. And I'm really mean. By the way, my ex-girlfriend said this to me. I want to start on Amazon. My first response was like, don't. Like, I'm really bad. And by the way, I should be like, yeah, take my course. But I say don't, because statistically 95% of businesses fail because people aren't willing to put the work in to make it happen. Now, the one thing which I'll say is business is incredible, but it's incredibly hard work. You have to be willing to grind for quite a period of time to reap a reward, which seems like nothing. But if you were to look at the rewards on business over a 10, 20-year horizon, they way outperform what you get on a job, for example, like massively outperform. But your problem is that most people don't even get to year 5. 95% will fail. So the question you've got to ask yourself is like, the rewards at year 20 are insane, like literally insane. And the longer you can play the game for, the better the rewards will happen. Why? Because you just have so much knowledge of what to do. For example, like now, like I can just look at a supplier and be like, no, like I'm getting bad feelings. And they're like, it looks fine. I'm like, you know, because I've seen it too many times. Or like you look at a keeper chart and go, that's going to crash. And they're like, no, it's fine. I'm like, how much money do you want to put on it? Like, because I've seen it too many times. And because of that innate knowledge and because of those conversations, we can just have we just know what we're doing. And I think that's a really important consideration. So again, but when you first start out in anything, you just don't get it. Like, you know, it's like learning a new language. You know, trying to speak Spanish, for example, I'm like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Like really, really bad. But only get into like year 2, year 3, you're going to understand nuances and subtleties, and you'll just become so much better. And it's the same thing with number 1, sourcing for products on Amazon. Number 2, how Amazon works. Like everyone's like section 3s right now. Like, my God, like I've seen so many of these kind of like, I don't know if I should sell on Amazon anymore, like over the years, and I'm still here. Like for some reason, like everyone else is as well, and we're still making money, and we're good money, and life is easier now than it was back then, and it's great. So I'm grateful for it. But then also as well, managing VAs. I've learned so much in the last year that people wouldn't understand. Like the stuff we share in the VA Academy is from my own learning, from my business and what we've seen, which is so helpful. But I've had to go through that growth curve, that learning, and now I can get great results. And now, like a classic one would be like. Someone messaged me saying, hi, sir, my VA is asking for the 13th, or hi, Tom, my VA is asking for the 13th month pay, which is coming out, by the way. They're asking for it at the end of November and I'm not sure. And I just said, nope, we pay it on the 16th of December or the first working day after that. It's always in the second paycheck in December, period. That's it. That's what we state in the contract, and that's what we do. And they're like, yeah, but they're saying that all their other friends do it. And I literally just said, look, I understand, and their other friends are telling them that, but like, no, we stick to the rules. We wrote a contract and we agreed it in that, and that is what we do, period. And what I realized in my conversations is that the good staff do not complain, and the ones who complain are generally ones who've got a problem, and probably they might not last. So it does happen. We've had it where, like, we did time tracking. My ops manager said to me, "Oh, Tom, when you do time tracking, everyone's going to get everyone's going to quit." And I was like, "I understand," but I was like, also, if we don't time track, the business is going to be really inefficient. And we implemented time tracking, and what's really interesting is we saw so much. So many people did quit. But what's interesting is all the people who quit weren't really the ones that we wanted. And then on top of that, the ones that we fired because of time tracking, they weren't working anyway. And the ones who stayed, who were working really hard and were great staff, they were ones that we could just see that they were doing what they were saying they're doing on time tracking. So it's like, And what's really interesting now, my team is as small as it's ever been. Well, not ever, but like smaller, much smaller. But we're a lot more efficient. And I make more profits, and I want that. So again, that's that learning curve, that growth. So I hope that makes sense. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up there because I think you have finished questions for the day. Everyone's like a bit bored. Tom's just talking to himself. It is Cyber Monday. Stop listening to me. Go buy some stock. That's all I can say. Just be careful of the suppliers you're buying it from. Buy faster selling items, and make sure the products you're actually buying are not a good price today, but they're good price based on historical averages. And why? Because if too many people buy it, you will know you're actually buying a good deal, not just a good deal today. That's a big point. So we've all seen the memes where it's like Monday, like hold 997, Tuesday hold 997, and then or like gets to Friday, it says was 1,200, now 997, $200 off, buy. Like all the memes, like welcome to life. Make sure the products you're actually buying is a good price, nothing else. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. As we say here, thanks, Tom. Thank you. And if you are interested, do check out the Black Friday Mastery bundle. It's available today only, 80% off. You're going to get Sourcing Mastery, the top seller program for 3 months access. That's 3 calls a week, plus the Admin Mastery, 80% off the package price. Check it out, fasttrackfba.com. Only available today. So if you're watching this on the replay, and it's not Monday, Cyber Monday, it's going to be gone. I'm sorry. Don't be asking me, can I have access? Because it's not going to work. So have a look. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Stay safe. Bye.